Yesterday was a pretty modest day across the crypto market. Yes, we finished green, so I'm not going to complain. We had another green day in terms of ADA and across most of the space. And today we started off on a bit of a red note, and we'll talk about why that is. But what's very strange that I think a lot of people are missing is we're actually on pace to have the largest week we have ever seen. And right now, I think this is the moment where a lot of people are, in fact, going to get caught. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So yes, ADA has kind of bounced around here over the past couple days. You guys can see that, we breached our 200-day moving average to the upside, came back down, breached our 50-day moving average to the downside, came back up. And right now we're just kind of putzing around this trend. And guys, this isn't the new thing for ADA. ADA has done this historically speaking. Last summer, it kind of putzed around that trend, few breakouts, few retests before it finally got on this rip roaring run that got us all very excited about the potential of ADA for the future. And what we're seeing right now is kind of that same thing. We're seeing some people doing some short-term profit taking. This is why we're seeing a little bit of red in the crypto market. When ADA makes this nice breakout here of, 15%, you're going to see some people take some profits. Not a surprising thing. Am I concerned about it? No, not really. It also doesn't mean that this is where we stop either. We could potentially see some prices moving to the downside. However, what I will say is very present that we have been seeing many times right before we go on these little pops to the upside is a big presence of short interest. And since we actually hit that point of about 72 cents, what was that? Was that just yesterday? Yeah, just yesterday. Losing my timeline here, guys. We did in fact see a bunch of short interest pile in right on top here. Shorts are trying to remain confident. Unfortunately, they're not getting out of the way. And that actually gives me a lot of confidence for where we're potentially headed to next. Now, that being said, what can really help propel us there is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is actually having kind of a modest down day, just like ADA is down 1.3% or so. We're still very much extended from our trends here. We are actually retesting some of these dips that we saw back in December and December 30th and 31st of 2024. Also what we came back and retested back in January of 2025, right before BTC actually ran to a new all-time high. That's what it's starting to feel like right now. And I think a lot of people are trying to think they're smarter than the market and that we're just going to erase this whole gain. And maybe we do, right? But we're getting to a point where the likelihood of that taking place is lessening. And what I think a lot of people are missing is taking place right now too, is that there is massive accumulation taking place across the crypto market. In fact, yesterday, when we look at institutional money, was another huge day, almost $1 billion accumulated by institutional players. BlackRock leading the way at $643 million themselves alone. Bitwise was the only ones to unload. Maybe they're ahead of the curve. Maybe they're behind. But these days alone have been huge for the crypto market. All right. Obviously, the day before this, $936 million. Day before that, $381 million. So you're talking about a week that's $2.23 billion in accumulation that took place. And what's interesting about this is if you were to end this week right now, this would be like the third largest week we've ever seen in terms of institutional accumulation. That is a huge, huge deal, guys. The only weeks that were larger were the week of, March 13th. And the week of November 20th. So just for a little bit of context, we did in fact see some surges around those times. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't know what today is going to be yet or what tomorrow is going to bring. But if we continue to see this accumulation taking place, we need to remember what things are present. There is severely diminishing supply on exchanges in terms of BTC. There is severely diminishing supply in terms of over-the-counter balances for BTC. So these things are kind of working into this scenario where you could start to see a little bit of a supply shock in terms of Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin starts to make those moves, we know that altcoins tend to get lively. So this is where, again, we can start to see some of those short liquidations take place. This is where you can start to see ADA get a little bit of a push out of these ranges. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen today, so don't put words in my mouth. And I'm also not saying I'm like crazy bullish, this is the moment or anything like that. Well, like I said, we may chop. We may do a little bit of this sideways before we try to take that next leg and break up to, about 74 to 76 cents. Try to confirm our breakout above our long-term trend. That's what alts are fighting for right now. They're fighting to confirm their reversal. And if we start really tackling some of these moving averages, specifically around 72.5 cents for ADA, which is where our 100-day moving average is, as long as we are showing some strength above these levels, that is again when we're going to start seeing a lot of those signs like we had been seeing, where USDT dominance does continue to drop off. It's in a great spot right now for this next leg down. Total market cap of crypto, current retest on its moving averages. I mean, these things are actually very bullish signs for where the market can potentially head to next. It's a question of, do we have enough oomph in the back half of the week to really extend further? We saw diminishing volume from the prior day. Over the last 24 hours, only $100 billion in daily trading volume. Yes, that's better than we have been. The day prior was $138 billion in daily trading volume or so. And again, this has been a week of pretty quiet news, just not a whole lot going on. So it's a question of, can the market make these legs organically? Can it do it on its own? Or, maybe do we have a surprise or two that cause us to get a little poppy or droppy one way or the other? But I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The reason why I'm saying a lot of people are going to get caught here is because they're going to think one thing's going to happen. They're going to make decisions based on that. And then the opposite usually happens. That's how things take place. I still see a lot of people that are bearish, which is a great sign. I don't want obviously us to be in this state of euphoria or extreme greed right now, because what we're trying to do is, again, just confirm our recovery across the crypto market. This is a great start to it, and hopefully it's something that continues. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think that we are going to see more green as the week moves on? Are we going to continue to see institutional buying, and will that lead us to a new record high? But have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.